Chainsaw Man's narrative universe is home to an incredibly strange symbiotic relationship between mankind and a set of entities known as devils. On our own, we don't really stand a chance against these entities, but for some reason, they offer their services in a give-and-take fashion, which allows mankind to harness supernatural abilities that they use to fight back against the devils, in turn unintentionally feeding into the set of factors that determine why devils are born and how they get stronger. Devils, by their nature, seem to be naturally aligned against humanity and its interests, yet without the supernatural abilities that mankind are afforded by their relationship with devils, they are ultimately defenseless against the relentless forces of nature that are devils. In the interest of presenting my thoughts on Chainsaw Man's power systems as a whole, let's talk about devil contracts, devils, fiends, hybrids, and people possessed by devils. In Chapter 6 of Chainsaw Man, Makima introduces the idea of how devils are born. Makima states, "All devils are born with a name. The more that name is feared, the more powerful the devil itself. Coffee has no scary mental image whatsoever. If there was a coffee devil, it would probably be weak. But what if there was a car devil? That conjures up the mental image of getting run over and dying, so that might be strong." This introduces us to the connection between humanity's emotions / the general perspective amid the population, and how devils themselves are born / what determines how strong they are. What's interesting is that when we learn down the line that devils can heal themselves by drinking the blood of humans, it sort of positions this idea to the audience that devils cannot fundamentally exist without humans, whether because of the way the feelings of the population at large causes concepts to be birthed into a devil of that form, or through the way that devils fundamentally sustain themselves through the consumption of human blood. It really stands out to me conceptually that devils cannot exist without humanity, but humanity can exist without devils, except that's not an option typically on the table for humanity at large. Devils are as fundamental a force of nature as the rain or the orbit of planets, and with mankind essentially under constant threat of siege from devils that spawn in spontaneously, what tools can we rely on reasonably to push back against the devils, / what does mankind get in return for consistently having to put up with them? Like, really cool superpowers? I mean, for all the pain and suffering that devils do and can cause, if you're willing to give something up in return, to the benefit of devils being a part of this world, you can get access to some form of supernatural ability. In Chapter 11 of Chainsaw Man, we are introduced to the idea of devil contracts. Certain devils, which are either intelligent enough to not directly try to attack humanity, or are contained in some kind of form, when approached by a human, can be offered a part of that devil's supernatural ability in exchange for some kind of sacrifice in return. Usually either some upfront form of sacrifice to get access to some small part of that devil's supernatural abilities, to be indiscriminately used as the person who made the contract with the devil sees fit, a one-time upfront fee if you will, or the devil will take something in exchange every time the person who makes the contract with the devil wants to use the ability stipulated by the contract. For example, within Chapter 11 and our first introduction to devil contracts as an idea, Aki states, "I'm in a contract with the Fox Devil. In exchange for borrowing the fox's power, I feed it part of my body. That's the deal. This time, I fed it some skin." While the relationship between humans and devils and the give and take of power that comes with devil contracts can vary between devil to devil, like for example, Aki being granted use of the Fox Devil's head, where she would typically not grant people access to it because she finds Aki cute. Arguably, the most commonly seen or common overall examples of devil contracts are generally along the vague examples of the two I provided beforehand. If you, the viewer, are familiar with Full Metal Alchemist, the shonen series, the idea that you're only granted access to power upon sacrificing or giving something in exchange might sound incredibly familiar, because it is incredibly similar to Full Metal Alchemist's fundamental power system governing law of equivalent exchange. Is it not a pretty interesting dynamic where the very things that threaten humanity's existence are also the things that give humanity the tools to stop that threat? When the devil contract system is functioning as it should, the consent of all parties involved is key. Despite duress possibly being within the picture as far as why somebody would want to make a devil contract, be it societal pressures or personal pressures, the best parts of the system generally involve both the devil and the human making the contract having something to gain from the relationship. Devils, by all regards, though, trump humanity's own capabilities to enforce facets of the contract system, so when it comes to devils wanting to use their powers in a way that might not directly benefit humanity, or frankly, that humanity can't stop even if they wanted to, you can sometimes get situations where devils will make a deal with humanity, but humanity might not get a say in the terms of the deal made. Or, for lack of a flowery way to describe it, sometimes it isn't even really a deal so much as the devils holding the supernatural equivalent of a gun to a person's head and telling them to do what they say or else. Sometimes, even incredibly rarely, the devils don't get a say in the terms of an agreement, or the emphasis is put on what the human desires rather than the devil. Such is the case with characters like our protagonist Denji or the temporary antagonist Quan Shi. These two characters find themselves a part of a broader class of human-devil hybrids known today as hybrids. Whether through the heart of a devil being intentionally transplanted within the body of a human, or a devil making a contract with a human to become a part of that human's body, sometimes a human will get access to the traits and abilities of a devil in exchange for functionally fusing with that devil and becoming a new entity entirely. Under very rare circumstances, the devil that fused with a human to create a hybrid can take control, though predominantly the human is the consciousness that fronts when it comes to this alliance. And that is, I think, the key word when it comes to discerning the difference between hybrids and devil contracts. Hybrids can and seemingly usually are created from devil contracts, but in order for a human to get access to the power of a devil through a hybrid, a contract isn't necessarily needed. A contract implies sort of like a business relationship where each party is begrudgingly giving something in exchange to get something from the other, whereas an alliance is, simply put, two parties functionally pooling their resources together to operate on equal grounds. Equality is assumed in a sense when it comes to devil contracts, as in what humanity has to offer in exchange for a devil's power are generally weighted to be about the same. This is where we get to talk about characters like Power, the Blood Devil, and Asamitaka, the Deuteragonist of Chainsaw Man Part 2. Let's start with Power. Power is what you would call a fiend, which is a devil that possesses the corpse of a human. What most prominently sets fiends apart from hybrids is the fact that the devil who possesses the body of the human that died generally does not have to ask for permission to do so. When a devil is backed enough into a corner that they need to possess the body of a human in order to continue incarnating, by all regards, what they're doing is basically adding someone's flesh and muscle mass to their own body. It's not a deal for both the person and the devil so much as it is sometimes something the devil needs and is willing to give up something in exchange for. But of course, because the human is dead, it doesn't get anything in return. So this fusing of a human and a devil isn't really a contract, like what is needed to create a hybrid. And in that vein, you have Asamitaka from chapter 98 of Chainsaw Man, who dies to a devil and has her body intercepted by the war devil before she dies, to where a contract is kind of formed, but at the same time, her body basically belongs to the War Devil at that point. As of the most recently released Chainsaw Man chapter, when making this video, chapter 186, the manga has yet to directly explain whether or not Asamitaka should be considered a fiend or another sort of class of person possessed by a devil in of themselves. This has led to a pretty unorthodox example of a devil contract both benefiting and not benefiting both parties involved. In no particular order, here are a few examples of things I really like from Chainsaw Man's power system. Himeno, having given up her eye in order to get access to the right arm of the Ghost Devil, is really cool. Just a sort of straightforward yet simplistic ability for somebody to have. And the Ghost Devil is really cool too. I like how its hair is flowers, and I like how its whole body is just like a bunch of abstract arms. Aki's Cone finisher move with the Fox Devil's head is really cool. In general, I think Aki gets probably some of the best devil contracts within Chainsaw Man. Aki's Future Sight ability from the Future Devil is really cool. I also like how the Future Devil doesn't ask for much in exchange because he's a sicko and a freak that just wants to see Aki die. Kobeni's Unknown Devil contract is interesting to me, and I do personally subscribe to the fan-held belief that it's something like a contract with the Luck Devil. I really like how the in-universe explanation that devil hunters try not to reveal their devil contracts acts as a cheeky way for Fujimoto to not reveal this information to us. I really do hope at some point that he is willing to reveal that to us, because I really want to know. And of course, if we're talking about devil contracts or things just in Chainsaw Man's power system in general, the actual power of the Chainsaw Devil itself is incredibly cool conceptually. Denji is a very fun main character to follow, and I just think the idea of a Chainsaw Man is really fucking cool. How couldn't I? It's what the manga's named after.